When we put our trauma on a pedestal, it's like placing it on an altar that is too high to touch. It feels distant, heavy, almost untouchable, unhealable. This space honors all paths of connection, healing, and family, grounding ourselves in sacred teachings as we are anchored in ancient roots, ready to rise from the soil of our past. I'm Irene Stupski, here to guide you through stories, insights, and spiritual practices that will help you heal and rediscover your true belonging. Welcome to Angels, Adoption, and Ancestors. Today, let's dive into a powerful truth. When we release the pedestal that we place our trauma on, you know what I'm talking about. When we release this, we open the space for healing, forgiveness, and grace to enter. So whether you've faced adoption trauma, broken relationships, or the unique pain of loss, you're not alone. We're all walking this journey together, each with a unique story, but connected through a sacred web of shared humanity. When we put our trauma on a pedestal, it's like placing it on an altar that is too high to touch. It feels distant, heavy, almost untouchable, unhealable, like a light that's just beyond our reach. It can dominate our story and cast a long shadow over our lives. Did you know that more than 60% of adults report experiencing at least one adverse childhood event? Whether it's a loss, abandonment, or the ache of feeling unseen, trauma is more common than we think. And yet, how often do we believe that our pain is somehow maybe not as bad as someone else's, different, or worse? Data shows us that pain is a universal experience. We're all part of this journey, each of us carrying unique stories, but bound by the thread of resilience, compassion, and growth. Here's a quote by Maya, hopefully I say this right, Angelou. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. This quote is a gentle reminder that our struggles may be unique, but they connect us. We're woven together by the shared human experience, by the strength and grace that we draw from one another. But here's the pedestal problem. When we see our pain as greater, by placing this trauma above others, it can feel validating at first, but we may think no one else understands the depth of what I'm going through. Adoption added so many complex layers to my understanding of my own identity, my belonging, and my self-worth. And for years, it felt as though no one else could truly understand the depth of that experience. But here's the truth. Putting our pain on a pedestal or low on the totem pole, it isolates us. It keeps us apart, and it creates a hierarchy of suffering that only deepens our wounds. Pain in any form is not a competition. You know, that friend or colleague that always tries to one-up you. Ram Dass once said, "We're all just walking each other home." If we could only all embrace this. It's such a beautiful reminder that we're not here to measure pain, but to hold space for one another, walking side by side, each of us doing the best that we can. As we begin our sacred light circle by stirring up our inner light for this beautiful podcast, we rub our hands together and we feel that beautiful warmth, the energy between your palms. Now, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let any heaviness melt away. Because today we're here to explore this profound truth that our struggles, our journeys, especially those shaped by a deeply personal experience, are no greater or lesser than anyone else's pain. And when we understand this, we find a doorway to deep peace, acceptance, and self-love. And then on the flip side, when we dismiss our pain as less than, then there's the other side of the pedestal, seeing our pain as somehow less important. This perspective, it whispers, Others have it worse, so I shouldn't feel this way. Sound familiar? I remember once my dad said, "You want to see problems? I'll take you to the children's ward and then you'll see kids with real problems." Now, as harsh as that sounds, it kind of still stings a little. I know what he was attempting to do. By diminishing my situation so I wouldn't feel so bad, but unfortunately, it really missed the mark, and that stuck with me for a very long time. This dismissal is just as destructive as thinking our pain is the greatest because it invalidates our soul's journey. Our feelings don't ask for permission to appear. When we don't give ourselves space to feel, we deny the light within ourselves that's calling to be seen, sometimes screaming. Here's a fact for you as well. Studies in psychology tell us that unacknowledged trauma can manifest in our bodies, in our relationships, and in our mental health. Ignoring our struggles leads to chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of isolation. Healing starts when we give our wounds the attention and compassion that they deserve. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists," meaning it will continually hang around with you as long as you wish it to. But when we honor our pain, when we see it as part of the greater whole, we step into the path of transformation. That's when we begin to heal in the light and grace of compassion. This is the power of forgiveness. It's embracing your light with grace. Forgiveness is a gift that we give ourselves. It's a gentle releasing of the grip that trauma has on us. Loosen the grip a little bit, because forgiveness isn't about forgetting or dismissing what happened. It's about allowing ourselves to move forward, to step down from the pedestal or up from the shadows and into a balanced space of grace. Forgiveness, my friends, is a divine act. It allows us to release not only ourselves, but the people who have shaped our stories. Research even shows that forgiveness is linked to reduced blood pressure, lower levels of anxiety, and an increase in overall well-being. When we forgive, we lighten the load, not only for ourselves, but for those who share this journey with us. Every act of forgiveness lifts us up, and it helps us see ourselves in the light of wholeness, and it reminds us that grace is always within reach. So here's your invitation to see all pain as sacred. We're all carrying something. For some, it's adoption trauma. For others, it's the weight of broken relationships or the sharp edge of a great loss. But each journey is sacred. Each step of healing is worth honoring. And when we see every experience as equally deserving of compassion, that is when we open ourselves to a transformative grace. So today, I invite you to release the pedestal. Allow yourself to see your struggle not as higher or lower, but as equal in worth and value to all others. When we do this, we see our challenges as stepping stones, divine invitations to grow, to forgive, and to heal. So let's close this beautiful episode with a short meditation to close this sacred light circle. Place your hand over your heart and feel its steady rhythm. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, let peace settle over you like a soft blanket. Maybe you can visualize your favorite blanket and see it being laid over you like a mother would when you weren't feeling well, or maybe when you fell asleep on the couch and someone covered you. Repeat this silently to yourself, or out loud if you want to. I am whole. I am enough. And my journey is sacred. Embody these words. Don't just say them, but feel them. I am whole. I am enough. And my journey is sacred. Allow this recognition to flow into every part of your being, bringing light to any place within that feels unseen or unloved. And as you breathe in this newly formed grace, you can now exhale forgiveness for yourself, for others, and for the stories that have shaped you. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's initiate our soul with this beautiful soul whisper. May you walk forward knowing that your struggles are not above or below anyone else's. May you see your journey as part of the divine tapestry of life, honoring every step as sacred, every breath as grace. If you haven't begun a spiritual practice, my hope for you is you begin to wonder what this may mean for you and your well-being. And if you already have one, know that you are doing something incredibly beautiful for yourself. What does a spiritual practice look like? My spiritual practice is a blend of deep presence and sacred connection and alignment with divine wisdom. I channel my energy into holding space for transformation and guiding wisdom and illuminating the unseen pathways that lead people back to themselves. A spiritual practice is any intentional activity that helps you connect with your soul, your higher self, or divine source. And it can include meditation, prayer, journaling, breath work, oracle cards, movement, time in nature, or rituals that bring you into deeper awareness and alignment, like listening to my podcast. It's about returning and nurturing your inner world to find peace, to strengthen your connection to something much greater than yourself. If you want to know more, you can message me and we can get you started. Or you can visit michelleirene.com for some free ways to begin at your own pace. But thank you for joining me in this sacred space today. If this message resonates with you, please share it with someone who may need this gentle reminder that they are not alone. We are all just walking each other home. Until next time, stay in your light, honor your journey, and remember, you are more than enough. And so it is.